Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. This is Raven 2008, also known as Karen and Karen Vlogs. Now, there's been a lot going on lately, and the first update I have is I was actually in the emergency room last week, and apparently I have an ulcer that decided to flare its ugly head. And so I am on a modified diet. I am back to, basics, bariatrically speaking. I am not allowed to have coffee. So if you see this coffee mug, it's not coffee. It's orange juice because I have a little bit of a cold. Anyway, okay. So I've been doing a lot of thinking about what I have been wanting to film. And the one thing is I have a tripod coming. So that is in the works. I have money budgeted in for a beauty light, or at least some sort of lighting system, so that's in the works. So right now, I am still in my MacBook camera, or laptop camera, and because this is going to be a story time, and I am 33 years old. I am, the generation OG, first came out on the internet. When you still had to have dial-up and AIM and all that fun stuff. And this is also before autism was a thing. This was before girls could have ADHD. It was predominantly a boys' disease. And this is before the laws that are in place now for like stalking and harassment, cyber wise. And so this is the story time about my stalker. Now, I'm not one of those, YouTubers that are saying, I had a stalker, just to say that I had a stalker to get views. That's not it. This is a boy I graduated with. He was not right at all. And by not right, I mean he had like no social cues whatsoever. He was brilliant, still is brilliant. But I'm not sure if it was like true brilliance or if he was just really good at memorizing stuff. Because I was too busy worrying about my own grades to really worry about anybody else's. But I graduated in 2003, and I decided to go to a community college to be able to get some counseling locally and stay with the counselor that I was already working with because of a totally different story time. But anyway, so Facebook had, in 2006, Facebook was college only. And this didn't really get bad until it was opened up to everybody. At least it didn't get bad on Facebook. It was already bad on MySpace. But we'll call him Andrew. Okay. Andrew was the kind of guy that he would stand up in the middle of class and just start spouting whatever he wanted to. He would pretend to try to strangle himself. And I didn't have my gastric bypass until 2012. And so apparently he thought because I was fat, I automatically would, he would automatically be my type. Like, I'm like, and I'm not saying this to be like cruel or anything. Like, he actually mentioned one time that, my self-esteem should be bad enough to date him because I'm so fat. And I would just block him, and he'd make a new profile and start all over. Well, I started putting my Facebook on lockdown at this point. Like, once he started making different profiles, everything was on lockdown. My pictures were on lockdown, and I was in class. And this was before, like, the invention of, like, super smartphones where, like, there was apps and everything. Like, this was back when I had the NV, the original NV, if that tells you anything. Most of the girls in my sorority did. We all had Savage Hip Swing for a ringtone. And I got a message in class. And I had just gotten word that my father was sick. So I pulled my phone out, and it was this guy. And he was like, I see you. I'm like, what do you mean you see me? Like, as far as I knew, he didn't have a driver's license. Well, he actually got somebody to drive him out to my college just so he could follow me around for a couple of days. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So, like, I ignored it because I'm just like, oh, this guy's harmless, nothing, is gonna happen, blah, blah, blah. And I went to the bar that night, and he was there. And he, like, corners me, and he's like, you really should kiss me. And I'm like, I ain't got to do shit, honey. Like, and, this is, whiskey, sour, me talking. And, so I asked the bartender to make him leave. And I explained to him, I'm like, look, this guy's stalking me. It's usually mostly been on MySpace, but this is now not the case anymore. Can you get him out of here? And he's like, yeah, sure, no, not a problem. So the guy told him, you need to leave or I'm calling the police. So he left. And I, like, as fast as he was making the profiles, I was blocking him. Well, then my Facebook was open to the public, and he did this once on Facebook under his real name. And I immediately blocked him. I did not accept any of his friends' requests, nothing. And, excuse me, I started getting messages from random guys that I didn't know. And I would be very vague with my answers. I would be very cavalier and then I wouldn't block them until they started in with like the psycho-ish stalking behavior. And it got so bad that I ended up having to, like, write down every single name, and I was searching, like, for all of this information. It's not like I was, being not careful with it and not, like, doing the research and my homework about these people that were trying to add me. And so I ended up having to call the state police, and I'm like, look, I really don't want to press charges on this guy, but I found out that he's now doing this to several different women, some of them having kids. And he was, just getting more and more unstable in his behavior. And so I ended up having to call the police. I'm like, can you please go talk to him? I'm starting to get really nervous, and I'm starting to get really scared. And they went and talked to him, and it stopped for a couple of months. And then as soon as I posted that I had a boyfriend, it started right back in again. Oh, you should be dating me. I'm so in love with you, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, I had a P.O. box because of being a blogger and stuff. Like, I've always had some sort of P.O. box and things like that. And he would actually send me, like, things off of my wish list and to my P.O. box with, love notes and stuff like that. And I'm just like, stop sending me stuff. Like, no free stuff is worth having, a stalker like this. And so the police went and talked to him. And this time I was just like, you've got to press charges at this point. And the reason why is because I had moved to a brand new town. I was in a building that was supposed to be secure. It was the kind of building that, like, it was gated after a certain time at night and such. Well, I went out to the club with my best friend at the time, and I come home and my door's open. Like, thankfully my dog didn't get out. Like, my dog had enough sense to be like, yeah, I'm not leaving. She feeds me. And I looked through, and like my underwear drawer was rifled through. Some of my sex toys was missing. It was like literally like really, really creepy stuff. And so I called the police and I said, this is who I think it is. Like, please go press charges. And charges were finally pressed, and he was in jail. And the last I heard is he actually found somebody to settle down with and get married. And I'm hoping that he'll never stalk me again, considering that I don't have the same last name anymore. And, we'll just leave it at that. So here's to hoping. If you like this story time and you want to hear more or read more, check out my blog at karen.blog and come back next week. Bye.